When Shakeology first came out, there was nothing like it on the market. A superfood shake with probiotics, prebiotics, and adaptogens. Most of us didn't even know what those words meant, but people loved how it made them feel, and millions started drinking it. Now, I have customers and coaches showing up in my Instagram feed all the time saying, I can get a shake like yours for so much less. And the first time I heard that and looked at what's out there, I was mystified. But here's what I've learned, and I actually think it's shocking. 2 labels can have similar ingredients and the same exact benefit claims, but what's inside can be very different. So even though those products might look identical, they can have very different effects on your health. For Shakeology, we use only the highest quality ingredients. We pick the best ingredient suppliers in the world who care as much as we do. We know them and we visit them, and we hold them to the highest standards. We don't just leave it to chance. We conduct more than 1,500 tests on every batch of Shakeology, from ingredients to finished products, to make sure each bag tastes great and meets our quality standards. More than 1,500 tests. No other shake I know of comes even close. Sound like a lot of work? Yeah, it is. Is it worth it? Let's find out. I'm in the Beachbody Research and Development Lab with Mike Wilson. Now, Mike, you head up our research, development, and quality departments. So, this scoop of Shakeology looks the same as any other scoop of chocolate powder. How does our testing tell me that this is any better than any other scoop of powder that we can find?
Every ingredient in that scoop goes through a battery of tests before we allow it in Shakeology. We make sure the ingredients provide the potency they should. We have identification tests performed on every ingredient to make sure it isn't a cheap lookalike. We test for color, texture, smell, and flavor to make sure it's smooth and delicious every time. We have our ingredients tested for contaminants. We test to make sure the product stays fresh and efficacious through its best by date. We test for harmful microorganisms.
Wait, back up. You said we test every ingredient to make sure it isn't a cheap lookalike. Now, why would a supplier give us something that isn't real? Wouldn't that be illegal?
It happens more than you would think. Sometimes for economic reasons, supplier will try to pass off a knockoff ingredient, and sometimes it's simply a mistake. We've caught shipments before that looked right but failed in testing. We've even had to remove ginkgo biloba from Shakeology because we could not find a consistent source of actual ginkgo in the amounts that we needed.
We couldn't find enough actual ginkgo, but I see ginkgo in everything these days.
It's hard to believe, right? But our testing detects those lookalikes before they get close to Shakeology. But not all companies have the same rigorous testing processes in place. Still, they should know whether it's real or not because of the price they're paying. But they accept the shipment anyway because it's so cheap, and it's a customer who loses. But not our customers. The only way we can guarantee that it's a real deal is through total control at every step. And verify, verify, verify.
Well, that's how you know the Shakeology that you get is the Shakeology that you expect. But Mike, let's talk heavy metals for a second. I don't like it in my music, and I don't like it in my food.
Well, that gives you another reason to avoid your vegetables.
Really?
I'm totally kidding. But plants do actually absorb metals through their roots. Being exposed to trace amounts of them is unavoidable.
Well, why do you say that?
Heavy metals are part of nature. You find them in water, soil, air, and even the food you buy from the grocery store and farmer's market.
Like what?
Well, according to the FDA, a handful of sunflower seeds is about 13 micrograms of cadmium, wine up to 4 micrograms of lead per glass, and mushrooms can have as much as 11 micrograms of arsenic. But that doesn't mean you should avoid them. We all know that plants are good for us and full of nutrients.
So these are trace amounts that are inherently part of the food that we eat. Now, how does that compare to what's in Shakeology?
We are well below those levels. That's tough to do, given how many plant-based ingredients are in Shakeology. First, we're very selective in finding the best suppliers for our ingredients. And our suppliers know that we will test, so they make sure they give us the cleanest supply they've got. And if they don't, they know we will send it back.
Are you saying they put aside their best stuff for us?
In a lot of cases, yes. And that makes my team very unpopular at times with our suppliers because we are so demanding. We take a lot of extra care to source our ingredients for the lowest levels of heavy metals.
Okay, but what about our competitors? What kind of testing are they doing?
That's not for me to say. You should talk to Dr. Mansoor Samdapur. He is the renowned food safety expert who's the president and CEO of one of the largest testing labs in the world. He created some of the most stringent testing and safety programs in the industry. He's the one the FDA calls whenever there's been a food illness outbreak anywhere in the industry. And he conducts random sweeps at the supermarket. So if you want to talk competitors, he's the guy that knows.
All right. Well, guys, let's go. We're going to see the doctor. So, doctor, you're like the undercover food police?
Yeah, something like that. For Shakeology, we test ingredients to find out things like, are the ingredients what they claim to be? Are there specific toxins or pathogens? Is the potency of the ingredient what it should be?
But what about our competitors? Are they running all of these same tests?
Not even close. Many brands on the market are commodity brands. They use the most cost-effective ingredients they can to achieve attractive label claims.
What's wrong with cheaper ingredients?
Let's take pea protein as an example. Shakeology contains premium pea protein from suppliers who collaborated with their farmers to ensure quality growing practices. For that level of quality, you have to pay a premium for the product. Compare that to the cheap pea protein coming out of some parts of the world. It can be abused, have high levels of contaminants, and be produced in unsanitary conditions. Mike's quality and sourcing team has visited some of these places and tested their products, so he can tell you what these protein powders might be contaminated with and the conditions they are made under.
I'm not sure I want to know.
The companies buying it don't want to know either. Instead of conducting their own tests, many brands just put their blind faith into their suppliers. It can be easier to look the other way.
So those brands may have no idea what they're putting on the shelves. Anyone can say that their product is full of quality ingredients, but if they're not actually doing the testing, they don't know.
Let's face it, a lot of people choose with their wallets. Companies know this and can make it hard for consumers to know what's inside their package. But you and I know what gets sacrificed for a smaller price tag. And if consumers did too, they might rethink what they are buying.
It's always worth it once people understand the difference.
And the difference is your products are released only after they are tested for identity, purity, and potency, and all ingredients have been checked against what I believe is the most stringent safety and quality program in the industry. That's just not how many other companies operate.
All this talk about quality and health, you're making me want to shake. Thanks, doctor.
Thank you.
At Beachbody, it's always been our mission to help people live their healthiest life, and Shakeology is a huge part of that. This is a life-changing shake for so many people, and that's because we have ridiculously high standards for every ingredient we put in Shakeology. We'd never copped a cheap protein or any other ingredient. Everyone in the industry knows this about us. Our suppliers, they think we're nuts, impossible to work with because of what we demand from them. But you know what? I don't care. I'm proud of that reputation because that means we're setting the highest standards out there. By the time Shakeology goes out the door to our customers, there have been over 1,500 tests on every batch, from ingredients to finished product. We do this so we can say with total confidence that this product that goes into millions of homes, it contains what it should and nothing it shouldn't. Because when you open that bag of Shakeology and pour a scoop into the blender, you can look at it and know it's more than some chocolatey powder fairy dust. It's exactly what we all hope for when we reach for a shake to help improve our health. I know because we make sure it's tested. And now you know too. Cheers. What?